I'm late to this one. I won't lie. I'm late to this one, Ranking of Kings. Okay, I started this show about 6 months ago, and I got to about episode 4, and it just completely flatlined, and I stopped. And I recently just got back into it, and I finished it today, and I've had time to digest the show, and I'm ready to talk about it. Like and subscribe. I do videos like this all the time, gaming reactions, you know, the whole shebang. But yeah, let's get into it. I wasn't expecting this at all from Ranking of Kings. Okay, off the bat, the animation art style was very odd to me. It kind of looked like Steven Universe, like it came from Cartoon Network. But as the show progressed over time, I grew to like it more and more, and started to realize how good the animation style actually was, and how smooth and fluid it was. And they were pulling out some camera angles that I would only see in some shit shot on like an iPhone commercial. Just one off the top of my head, they had a little scene where it was like Miranjo and King Bose talking to each other, and it was like from under a table, and like the table leg was in the way. It was like, what's the cameraman doing right now? Is he just like, you know what I'm saying? It was nice. There were some different angles that I really liked and I really appreciated. So off the bat, the animation, the art style took me for a whirl, but I ended up appreciating it overall. Now, before I get any deeper into territory, there will be minor spoilers in this video. I'm going to try and not go too deep into it, but I am going to be talking about specific fights and specific scenes and all this and that. So if you haven't seen Ranking of Kings, I would recommend you go watching it before coming to this video. I mean, you can't stay. I would appreciate it, you know, but for your sake, I would go and watch the show or finish the show, whatever you do, and then come back to this video, because I'm gonna be talking and it's gonna be a good one. But yeah, no, so aside from the animation, the art style that I touched on really quick, the characters in this show, everyone is different. There is no one that is the same. I'm just gonna start off with Boji real quick. Damn near maybe main character of the year. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be like, Rudius, he's cool, but Boji, I have not experienced a main character like Boji. I mean, he's deaf. He already has a one-up on the competition because he's already hindered by that, you know? But he's already at a disadvantage compared to the competition. He's actually at a double disadvantage if you really think about it, considering that his father was kind of selfish. I'm gonna get back into that later, but he has no strength. Boji is not only deaf, but he is weak. I mean, listen, no hate to deaf people, okay? I understand it happens. But I'm just saying, like, obviously that is a bad position to be in, realistically. Also, when you're born to a big-ass giant and you can't even swat a fly. But Boji is a great character off the bat. Kage is also another character we meet, and I met him and I was like, obviously he's an asshole, he's a thief, but he ended up becoming Boji's right-hand man, and he became a GOAT top 3 character of the show. We met characters like Domas, who I like to call Dumbass, because it's like, what side are you on? Pick a side. Are you just gonna try and kill King Boji like that? And I'm gonna call him King Boji because he is the king of this shit. I don't care what how the show ended. I don't care what position he decided to take. It is King Boji in here. That is what we're calling him. And people like Dorsch and Apis and Bebin, I think it was like the 4 pillars, like they were all cool. Dorsch is probably the coolest one, for being honest. Everyone else was kind of shady at points, especially Apis. Like, if I'm talking about Dumbass picking a side, Apis needs to pick a fucking side. One second he's swearing his loyalty to King Boji, and then next minute he's like, oh my gosh, please don't do that. So shut up. He was just pissing me off the whole time. Yeah, so we had them 4. We had Daida, of course. He started off as an asshole, but then he went through probably the most character development in the show to me. You know, he was really he was a bitch. I'll be honest, he was a bitch. You know, I would break that carrot nose off his face because he was causing Boji some problems. Is Boji his little brother or older brother? It doesn't even matter. I mean, he's clearly at a disadvantage, and you're just upset that you're not as nimble and quick as him. Boji just went to football training camp. He was doing the ladder drills, and you just got to get on his level. Simple. You have the strength, he has the speed. Why can't we coexist? I'm not even going to get into that part. I'm going to get to that when I'm talking about the story. But you know whose carrot nose I will not break off? It's my lady Queen Hilly. Okay, she started off kind of rough for me, right? She was kind of rough for me at first, I'm not gonna lie. Why are you coming at everyone like that? She was very aggressive, very authoritative to Boji and to Daida a little bit too, but there was clearly some favoritism going on right there. But oh man, did she grow? And I'm not even talking about just as a character. I mean, she got a little different fit on, and we got to see those curvatures. I thought I was in geometry class. I was seeing parabolas everywhere. But no, so I really grew to like her character. Just know that Queen Hilling, she's wife of the year. You know, I love me some cougars. You know, she's milfadacious, if you will. That's the word of the day. You know how we had the other one in the cyberpunk video, so this is gonna be this word of the day. Milfadacious. That's my made up word. So yeah, she is. Whew. She was doing something to me, man. And we also have King Bose and Miranjo, and Miranjo was obviously going through her whole thing, and she was kind of all over the place too, because she just had a bad childhood. She had it rough. She became, I guess you could say, an evil figure for not the right reasons. She basically came through in the end, and I love to see it. I got some issues with her and her situation at the end, but I'm gonna get to that too. And then King Bose, he was all over the place. I mean, did he even want to get reincarnated? What was up with that? Also, Despa. Despa was great. Loved his character. Loved his character. He was maybe a top 5. What a good teacher for Boji. I mean, come on now. But yeah, no, so the characters in the show, they were all diverse. They all did their own thing, and they all shined when they had to shine. And I thoroughly enjoyed every single one of them. And there's not one bad character, to say the least. I really can't think of a character in this show. But no, I just want to touch on the characters really quick, because the story and the fights in this show, man, because they kind of go hand in hand. Like, we're starting off with Boji, and I'm already pissed off because it's like, he's your prince, right? But why is it in these shows they're always picking on some guy with some sort of disability or some sort of problem? You know, what are these worlds that these characters are coming from? Like, if we had a president, for example, who went deaf, I'd be like, oh, that sucks, you know, he's deaf. And keep in mind, the president would be older. Boji is a kid, so you're just gonna let the kid walk around naked, deaf, and just make fun of him? Not even knowing he could read lips too. So that's the icing on the cake. Boji was seeing what they were saying about him, and he still kept his chin up. He is the strongest person in that village, in that kingdom, whatever, compared to all of these people making fun of him. Boji could have realistically been like, he could have called Kage up. He could have been like, yo, Kage, pull up real quick. And then Kage would have been his translator, and he would have been like, yo, listen, I have more money than all of you combined, and you will never be in my position. And then just walk away in his underwear, butt-ass naked if he wanted to, and they could laugh all they want. They could laugh all they want, but he's the one going back home to the castle. I never understood that. But no, the story starts, and then we see Boji and Daida obviously fighting kind of for the king's spot because their dad's dying. And then Daida's getting upset that Boji is kind of flexing on him right now. He can't touch him. The part that had me going is that Boji obviously is weak, right? But he would dodge, and just tap him with the stick. But if you really think about it, that's really fucking disrespectful. Say, for example, I'm boxing you, right? I'm weaving everything, and instead of knocking you the fuck out, I just flick you on your forehead, kind of like Itachi did to Sasuke. That is just disrespectful. If I'm Daida, I understand his frustration, right? It's like, it's your brother, so you gotta relax a little bit. But I get that frustration. You could just coexist, as I said. It's not even that big of a deal. They're both kids though at the same time, so he's gonna have that temper. He didn't go through his arc yet of character development, so I get it. But then, yeah, we see Boji just going on this journey, and I'm sitting here like, damn, what's gonna come of this? You know, how is this show gonna take a turn? Where's the turning point in this show? Because it really starts off slowish in the sense of you don't know which direction it's gonna go. They give you little glimpses, like Daida's mirror. She was saying some suspicious shit. Miranjo. She was sort of leading him in the wrong path, so I thought it was going to be based solely off the mirror, which it kind of was, but like also other stuff at the same time. But yeah, so then Boji goes on an adventure, I guess, to get stronger with Domas, and then Mr. Dumbass decides to push him into the Earth's core. Why can't we, again, why do we have to just pick and choose one king? And they're looking at Boji as like a burden. Boji's the best thing that ever happened to that kingdom, if we're being honest, right? It's like no one else is going to be as positive and as like wholesome as him. Why not? Why are you just gonna push the kid? Why are you gonna push the kid down into a pit of lava? Like, how do you live with yourself after that? Realistically, you could do anything else. If you don't like him, imprison him, put him in jail. Why do you have to push him into lava? Why do you do that? I didn't go. But obviously, the MVP Kage came in, stepped in, and he showed us why he is a great character and sidekick to Boji and saved his life. And then Boji meets the Mad King. I don't know if that was before or after he got pushed into the pit of lava. That guy's also really weird too, and he's never really spoken about again. But I think that kind of like was giving us a glimpse into the world of this Ranking of Kings world, because I don't know which direction the show's gonna go. Because when the show ended, like Boji was like, oh, I want to make my own kingdom, whatever, with Kage. So it's like, is he gonna shoot for the top of the ranks? Is he gonna have to fight his brother and these so-called gods and demons eventually? Because that was also something that was touched upon a little bit too. There are some entities in here who are so strong, it is almost unfathomable. King Bose wished to be the strongest man. Who says there is someone else in the world who can't do that same shit? Just wish with the demon and then just become the strongest man. But yeah, no. So as I was saying, I was looking at Boji and Despa train, and then he gets his sword, his fencing stick, and I'm like, why is there a boulder cut in half right now? What's going on? That's not Boji. That's a demon. He's awoken. I'm thinking he got his giant powers, but then he turns around and pulls out his little stick, his little twig of a sword. But lo and behold, he has like this inherited power, I guess. And he was just like, he split the rock by sort of pinpointing that one vulnerable part. And I love what they're doing with it, because Boji ends up just not killing anyone. So he sticks to his roots of being this morally great individual, this great kid who just does not want to do violent shit like that. But yeah, no, the story's progressing. Miranjo and King Bose are going crazy because he took over Daida's body, all that shit, and everything's starting to unravel, and I'm sitting here and I'm really enjoying it because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of different things going on. Oaken was let out of the prison with a couple of the other underworld criminals and whatever, and then we find out that he's the brother of Despa and the king of the underworld. And then we see Boji kind of going up against the king of the underworld a little bit with his lightning shit. I was like, okay, Boji, you're kind of flexing right now. Like we see Boji at the same time progressively getting stronger. We see Queen Healing doing great things in the kingdom, looking great for the kingdom. She should be their mascot. Put me in Dorse's position. Give me about 1 day in Dorse's position. All I'm saying is her last name will not be Healing anymore. I don't know what Dorse's last name is, but we'll just say she'll be Queen Dorse. But yeah, no, that aside, everything's unraveling. And then we get to a point where Boji is faced up against Oaken. But the problem is Oaken is immortal. So then Boji, this is Boji's one opponent that he cannot beat. And I'm like, okay, he has to be faced with some sort of challenge, right? He basically one-shots everyone else. Every other living creature he is going to one-shot, so he might as well get some sort of challenge, and it is this Oaken character. So I really don't know how they're going to beat this, right? Miranjo's having some sort of awakening, and she's coming into her own after reviving Boji and Kage and everyone because Oaken was letting loose. And she's sort of becoming like good again. She's feeling her emotions. And then King Bose pulls up in Daida's body. And I'm like, okay, well, he can't beat Oaken off of pure strength. Like, because Boji was just trying to beat him with his tactic. But it's like, if Oaken's immortal anyway, it's not even going to work. Tell me how. When he took over Daida's body, I'm thinking he just accumulated the strength. I didn't think his bone density would be within Daida's veins, because Oaken is stabbing with the sword. Tell me how King Bose is just sitting there taking the stabs like nothing's happening. They said that he got so compact that his bones just became pieces of obsidian at that point. Like, he literally is not getting cut by these sword thrusts. Looking at him like he's like, why? What? So King Bose ends up fighting Oaken, turning him into a ball because he smashed him at a rapid pace with his club. Has no business being that big, by the way. And they're saying he was smashing him so fast, pause on that they couldn't even see the club moving. He puts him into a ball and then stuffs him into a rock, and then takes more rocks and stuffs them to cover him in there so he can't turn back into his physical self. I was thinking Oaken would have the strength to like kind of break the rock, but he really doesn't if you think about it. So it's like, if you can't kill him, you might as well just keep him in the rock forever until you find some way to reverse the immortality. And then it's Boji's time to shine. Tell me how Boji takes out Bose in about 30 seconds. He doesn't even give him a chance to breathe. First off, the animation quality in this goddamn fight, if Demon Slayer Season 2 fight did not exist this year, this would be my anime fight of the year at this very moment. Because the fact that they were like going back and forth between like they were like symbolizing that he was fighting like the big ass version of King Bose and then switching to Daida and going kind of back and forth with it, that was so sick. And I don't know how it was working because Boji was kind of like running up his arm, so it just worked out. Boji would tap his club and his club would shatter into millions of pieces. Tell me that's not the most broken MC of the year. I mean, come on. And then he was like running on a wall and they were getting some wicked camera angles with that shit. And I was very excited just looking at this fight. And he really finished him off with like some nicely executed fencing skills. Perfect form on it, honestly. But then Boji ends up hitting him with like another 4-piece, like a pop, 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 pop. Like, you know, the crystal mirror dance that Haku does? That's kind of what he did. I don't know, he kind of did that. He came from all these different angles. But yeah, so then Daida's about to smash Miranjo. And speaking of smashing Miranjo, what is their relationship? And I'm really not even trying to get weird with it. I'm really not. Obviously, he knew Miranjo's mom. Miranjo's mom died. And then Miranjo was a kid. They were chilling, whatever, and they took care of each other. And she became somewhat of a young adult. And he was still, I guess he was, what, maybe 40, 30 at this point? But like, were they intimate? Was that a thing? Because if it is, I'm gonna have to sound the alarm. He's gonna have to go back to jail, actually, because he was in there briefly in the show. But no, like, what? I never got clarification on their relationship. Like, did Miranjo look at it a different way than he did? I don't know. So then he's about to smash the mirror. He doesn't, because Apis has like no, don't do it, because, you know, he can't even decide what he wants to do with himself. He's so discombobulated. And then Boji ends up hitting her with like a pew pew. Easy. Perfect execution. He is just such a fucking threat. I need to see more characters with that sword. Because if you do the proper technique, that shit's hot. I'm not gonna lie. So then I'm seeing her obviously go out of the mirror, and then the demon comes to take her soul, and then they end up saving her by making a wish. But the problem I'm having is, right, because I know Daida, when he was in the Shadow Realm, he was sort of developing some sort of relationship with her. She comes back to the real world for the first time in like years. His horny ass, first thing he says, I'm marrying this chick. What? Excuse me? How old are you? You're like 12. She's like 48. What are you doing? And I understand maybe in terms of like their physical appearance, they are about the same age, maybe. But she has about 20 years of wisdom on you, brother. Like, I don't know, right? She didn't deny it though. So I guess Daida's just into his cougars. I guess he just appreciates her wisdom and what she's been through, and he took it all in. He saw the memories, so I mean, he knows. But I mean, I'm stuck on Queen Hilling. That's my girl. You could take Miranjo, but I got your mother. That's it. All in all, that's basically the whole story. That's everything. I just loved the show. There was some problems I had, again, like with Apis, and there were like a couple boringish episodes. But I mean, other than that, man, this show was really, really good. This was a really, really good piece of work, and I did not expect to like it as much as I did. If I were to give this show a rating out of 10, I would probably give it a 9. I realistically would, because it also has a really good soundtrack as well. Opening 1 is good, but that opening 2 is a 10 out of 10. I mean, this show is doing everything right. It's very underrated too. Like it was getting talked about a little bit when it was coming out, but I feel like more people need to know about this one, and I feel like they're intimidated by the art style. But when you actually start to get into it, a couple episodes, you really, really start to appreciate and enjoy it, because it's a very different take on an anime. And I really do enjoy it. I cannot wait for season 2, because I'm pretty sure it's confirmed. But yeah, with that being said, man, like and subscribe. On to the next one. I'm going to try and finish some more shows and get to it. But you know, there's a lot on my plate coming up now with Bleach, My Hero, Chainsaw Man, and all that. But we'll see what's going on. Got some gaming coming out too. Elden Ring, Godskin Duo. I'm going to take them on. It's been a minute. That's my next Elden Ring video. And yeah, that's about it. On to the next one.